You're listening to the Plane Talking UK podcast, the UK-based podcast written by a passenger for anyone. And here are your hosts, Carl Stebbings and Matt Smith.
Well, hello and welcome to episode number 103 of the Plane Talking UK podcast. I'm Carl Stebbings, and joining me in my kitchen studio this week is my trusty co-host, Matt.
Trusty, yeah, right, okay.
Rusty.
Hello, yes. Hello, everyone. How are we all today? Episode 103?
103, yes, we are all very well. We've got quite a few people in the chat room.
We have.
And it is the 12th of March.
Yes, it's coming up to 10 past 2.
Coming up to 10 past 2 in the afternoon. We've been live for a little while because we went live a bit earlier in the on the U of Tube.
We did.
So we've been
somehow
chatting.
We're still late.
How did that happen? Yeah, I know. So we've got quite a few people in the chat room at the moment.
Yep.
Marsha's in there, Matty Fab, Paul Tricker, Micah's in there.
Yep.
Dan Hannington's in there as well. Hello to you, Dan. Going down. David Corson's in there as well. Hello, David. He was at our 100th show. He came and saw us at the museum.
Yep.
Scrolling down. Myla's in there. Hello, Myla. The lovely Myla. I'm just going down. Just
while we're on chat room, chat room bits and pieces,
Paul
and while he's just finding other people that we may or may not have.
Tony S.
Hello,
darling. How are you?
He's so smooth. He's smooth and charming. Yes. Whilst we're on that, while the show is live, please feel free to tweet us in the studio directly, and we can include your tweets live during the show.
Yeah.
So if you are on Twitter, you can send us a message using the hashtag it's the hashtag PTUK is the handle that you need to put in, and that message will come to us straight here in the studio, and then we can put any messages that you sent us
live on the screen.
Straight up on the screen. If you are a Facebook user, if you go to our page, which is Plane Talking UK, on there you'll see a comment about the messages, and when you've done that, you can if you comment on that page, I can also pick it up and include it in the screen. Just like a little while ago, the lovely Jenny did exactly that for us. And yes, here we go. There you are, see? So I can put it up on the screen.
Wow, look at that. For those of you watching us live in YouTube land, you can see your little messages on the screen, which is quite nice. I like that.
So get them coming in.
Yeah.
Actually, we've got quite a funny one here that I think is quite funny, because we have also been experimenting with Periscope today.
Oh, we did. Until my phone exploded.
Until the phone actually melted, essentially. As I say, I have to say that this kind of made me laugh, because it was, I'll put it up on the screen for you now, so it's from Micah, and it said, Periscope, I thought this was a show about aircraft, not submarines, torpedoes, lols. Indeed, yes. Never mind. Carl, you look very confused. Everything all right?
Yeah, sorry, I'm just looking at some messages that come through on the on the emails, actually.
Oh, right, okay.
That's fine. They're all trying to sell me something.
Are they? Oh, you do love that. You like phone calls along those lines as well, don't you?
We get phone calls as well from the wife. Yeah,
absolutely.
Right.
Yes. So it has. It's been a very busy start to the show.
Yeah, we have had a busy start to the show. It's a lovely day. And,
it certainly is.
I'm working this evening doing a wedding disco. I'm DJing at a wedding disco. I've already been set up because I'm wearing my company
company
promotion,
t-shirt. Yeah.
No promotion at all.
How embarrassing.
No promotion at all. We're not going to promote my company at all. Okay. Right.
Honestly.
And
once again, as usual, ladies and gentlemen, I do apologise. But
and actually, tonight's wedding that I'm DJing at has a very special guest indeed, because someone sitting there is going to be at the wedding with me.
Yes, I'm going.
I think we should do a joint DJ.
No, I'm having a night off. Thank you very much. Okay. I've had a busy week.
All right. So yes, that's going to be my evening with Matt this evening. Yes, that should be good. That should be good.
Fun. Yeah. And then I'm picking your wife up.
And then Matt is very good. Very good. He's very nicely picking my wife up, Gemma.
Yes.
From a night out in our city.
Yes.
Not far from us, and she'll be drunk and everything.
Yeah.
I haven't got to put up with it.
No, absolutely. It's the way forward. It's all right. But I'm very good at that sort of thing. I don't get offended by unpleasant things.
Can we just say on the show? Can we just say a massive happy birthday to Philip Davis's wife, who's had her birthday today. That's in the chat room.
Yes.
So all the best to your wife, because it's her birthday apparently, according to the chat room there.
Well, that's good.
I know.
Well, I presume it's correct. I assume the
It says
information
here.
that arrived
Yes,
in the
it
chat
says
room
here.
was correct. So it's
Very good, very good.
Anyway, enough of this.
Enough of this. We're going to start the show then, as we do, with our rundown of the weekly news from around the world and the UK. So if you're ready,
Yes, I certainly am.
let's go. So, kicking off this week's first news story on the thisismoney.co.uk website.
As you do.
And the headline, Budget Airlines enjoy busy February as EasyJet sees a 9.8 jump in passengers following rises from Ryanair and Wizz Air. So budget airlines are all enjoying a busy February in the run-up to the crucial summer holiday season, with EasyJet and Ryanair and Wizz Air posting growth in passenger numbers during the month. Luton-based EasyJet said that today its passenger numbers increased by 9.8% in February to 4.9 million from 4.5 million.
Wow.
But it saw a slight slip in its load factor, the measure of how full its planes are, for the second consecutive month to 90.5% from 90.9% full. On a rolling 12-month basis, EasyJet passenger numbers rose by 7.5% to 70.5 million from 65.6 million.
Wow.
Meanwhile, yesterday, or early this week, Ireland's Ryanair reported a rise in both its customers and load factor for the month. Customer traffic grew 28% year on year to 7.4 million from 5.8 million, while its load factor increased by 4% to 93% from 89%. And not to be outdone, on Wednesday last week, Wizz Air also posted growth in both passenger numbers and load factor as well for February. The airline, which is focused on Central and Eastern Europe, said its load factor had increased by 2.6% in February to 86.4% from 83.7%, as the number of passengers carried grew to 22% to 1.4 million from 1.2 million. Airline travel firms were hit at the back end of last year by a string of terrorist attacks, dampening revenues as people's confidence in flying took a knock. In January, EasyJet said that the spate of terror attacks had hit its revenue for 3 months to the end of December. During the final months of 2015, EasyJet cancelled 684 flights compared with 468 during the same period a year earlier. So we can see there's a little chart there, EasyJet statistics. I mean, that's what we just said for February.
Yeah,
that's pretty good. I mean, even a load factor of 90% of an aircraft full.
Yeah.
You know, that's not too bad. Matt's smiling. Why are you smiling?
I'm smiling and simply because Micah has made me laugh.
Micah's made you laugh. The main man, Micah.
Yeah, he says, "Why is it the name Wizz Air makes me think of something that might take place on a Ryanair flight? The term Wizz can often mean something else here." And yes, I think you're right. Actually,
dear.
Absolutely.
Good
News for budget airlines, I think, is the best way to describe that. But as we're on the subject, shall we move straight on to story number 2?
Yeah.
And story number 2, as always, is a Ryanair story, because Carl does this to me every
this is a
single week.
posh one
Is
for you
it?
this
What?
week. This is a posh Ryanair story.
I'm not sure Ryanair and the word posh can go together in the same sentence.
You better read on.
We better read it anyway. This is on the Telegraph, telegraph.co.uk. It's one of the broadsheets here in the UK. And the headline is, Ryanair woos business crowd with corporate jet hire service.
Oh, yeah.
I'm speechless. Okay. Ryanair is not the first airline that comes to company executives' minds when thinking of flying in style to their next meeting, but the no-frills carrier is nevertheless launching a private jet service to tap into the lucrative business of travel marketing. The Dublin-based budget airline has announced that it is starting a corporate jet charter business that offers a customised Boeing 737-700 aircraft for hire. The plane features 60 business class reclining leather seats and includes fine dining catering facilities. So presumably that's not one of them manky sandwiches that they usually offer you. And has a fine range of up to has a range of up to 6 hours, making it ideal for private, corporate, sports team or group travel. Ryanair said. While the airline did not give a range of rental rates, it said that the jet is available to hire on a cost per hour basis, which with quotes dependent on the departure and arrival airports. And we all, because I suppose because it can be a lot more expensive to land, for example, at London City than it would perhaps be at Norwich and things like that, I guess. But then they all, because of that, they can also offer the most competitive rate in Europe. Robin Keeley, a spokesman for the airline, said that more than 25 million business travellers fly with Ryanair every year, choosing our low fares, unbeatable on-time performance and Europe's largest route network, along with the benefits of our Business Plus service. Now business and group travellers can also enjoy the benefits of Ryanair's corporate jet service, as we offer a customised Ryanair Boeing 737-700 for private charter. Ryanair, which is led by the colourful boss Michael O'Leary, and is known for its marketing and publicity stunts, and fellow low-cost airline EasyJet have been seeking to boost profits by wooing business travellers in recent years. The Irish carrier hopes to tempt executives onto its corporate jet by promising that passengers will be tended to by its industry-leading pilot and cabin crew professionals. Seats will be ranged in a 2x2 configuration and will have a 48-inch seat pitch. And you're laughing. What's happened?
Oh, just reading the comments in the chat room since you've been reading that story. So we'd like to say, before we make any comments, hello to Jen, Jen Niffer, who's joined us in the chat room. Just trying to find out where Jen is in the world. But no, David Corson said that he'd love to hire the jet for a stag do he's going on in 3 weeks' time.
Oh yeah, definitely do that.
That'd be good.
That would be amazing.
Marsha's put that she thought the Ryanair fleet was all 800 series, but I actually thought that until I got the latest edition of Airliner World, which Matt has got the guide in, which it comes free with this month's with a guide. Like an airline's fleet guide, and in there I actually looked through the fleet because I, like everyone assumed, they're all 800s, but they do have a Dash 700 in the fleet, and I didn't know that either, which I was quite shocked because I kind of normally know pretty much everything there is to do with commercial aircraft as such.
There it is, yes. So here we go.
Matt will just look through the Ryanair fleet there.
He is, yes. I am frantically looking through. And they do actually, they've got some 737-8s.
Yep, all
ASs, which is what most of them have. No.
Philip Davis has beat us to it. He's already, they've got one Dash 700. It's Echo India Sierra Echo Victor. It'll probably be at the beginning or the end of their list of aircraft, Matt.
Okay.
On there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 737-73S.
Yes, that's it.
Echo Lima dash Sierra.
Oh, is it
Echo,
Lima? Is that sorry? Echo Lima Sierra.
I think
Echo
is it
Victor.
or is it Echo? No, it might be Echo Indigo. Oh, I don't know.
Oh, Jen is in the USA in Ohio.
Ooh.
Wow!
Oh, lovely.
What is the time there? It must be. They must be at least behind so many by so many hours.
So yes, here we go. Look. So if you are watching on YouTube, you can see.
Oh, there we go. Oh.
Hang on, it's not focusing. I'm very sorry, but anyway, it's the top of the list.
Top of the list there.
Anyway, yes, no. So that's a bit of a shock actually, because as you say, I was convinced they were all Dash 8s.
Yeah, but being able to. I wonder how much it would cost to hire an entire 737-700 with all the business class. I mean, having that seat pitch as well. Did you say 46-inch seat pitch?
It was. It was a 48-inch
or 48-inch seat pitch.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah, that'd be quite comfortable.
Yeah, I mean that would be. Yeah, I wonder what they'd offer for snacks, lukewarm paninis, and the usual kind of things and stuff.
Yeah, well, Micah is saying it's just gone 9:20 in Ohio.
Yeah,
in Ohio.
Thank you for that, Mike.
Indeed.
Thank you.
Yes. Anyway.
Oh, Jen's put that she's not far from the most excellent Air Force museum in Dayton, Ohio. Oh, well, another one I want to visit. God.
You really have got to hurry up and win the lottery.
The joint account is going to get such a hammering this year.
Absolutely, yeah.
I'm just glad the wife doesn't listen to the show.
No, it's time to win the lottery.
Yes,
yeah, absolutely.
Yes. So moving on to our next story,
Yes.
on the Travel Mole site, this one. And the headline, United to retire their 747s. United Airlines in the US are going to retire their 747 fleet from scheduled service by the end of 2018, they've announced this week. To replace the jets, it will be converting 787 orders originally anticipated for delivery in 2020 and beyond into 4 777s and 5 787s for delivery from next year. These conversions will accommodate the accelerated retirement of the 747s while also meeting United's capacity needs, as said. The airline has also ordered 25 more Boeing 737-700s for delivery from the end of 2017. The order is in addition to the previously announced order of 40 737-700s. And the new Dash 700 aircraft will enable United to continue using larger, more fuel-efficient aircraft as it shrinks its 50-seater regional fleet. The airline expects to have fewer than 100 aircraft in its 50-seat fleet by the end of 2019. The next generation of 737-700s provide cabin enhancements, including larger overhead bins that can accommodate additional carry-on bags, said United. Meanwhile, the merged United Continental is facing a challenge to its leadership from the two institutional shareholders who claim the carrier has done little to improve its performance. The investors, who together hold 7% of the airline shares, want to put forward 6 new board members for election at the next annual meeting, including former Continental Airlines chief Gordon Bethune. Bethune ran Continental until 2004, and the airline merged with United in 2010. United announced its Chief Executive Officer, Oscar Munoz, will return to full-time work on Monday after recovering from a heart attack in October. So retiring 747. So I mean, it's inevitable. Everyone's talking about it now on all the aviation podcasts. The airlines steadily phasing out the 747s. I can't see BA getting rid of theirs, and I know Virgin, as I knew by flying with those last month, Virgin recently updated the interiors in their 747-400s. BA have got quite a good fleet of 747-400s as well, which are in that magazine you've got there. But it's all to do with fuel. There's 4 engines, and there are aircraft that can carry nearly as much or many people as the 74, but that only have 2 engines to burn fuel rather than 4.
Well, Micah was saying the only reason that the Boeing keeps the line open for the 747-8 is to keep the VC-25 contract for Air Force One.
Yeah, because Boeing are making the new Air Force One.
They are indeed, yeah. So it's but again, as Tony's quite rightly put, they're going to be flying long after we're gone, and also Jennifer, Jen Niffer has said that they're going to be, they're very popular as cargo planes.
Oh yeah,
so, I mean, they're not going to be. They might not be making them perhaps as readily as they were, and they're going to stop making them. But at the end of the day, I think they're going to be in the sky for years to come.
But they will always be the
first jumbo.
They're always going to be the first jumbo, but they're always going to have that name, the Queen of the Skies, because that's what she is, the 747.
Somebody said in the chat room, what's the King of the Skies though?
The King of the Skies.
Yeah, I know, tricky one that, isn't it? I don't know. Is it a bit like cars? Are aeroplanes referred to as females a bit like cars are? I don't know. Perhaps there is no.
Would you say the King of the Skies could be the A380?
Ooh.
The Airbus 380.
Ooh,
we'll leave it open
because it's the big beast.
The huge beast. We'll leave it open to those in the chat room. Who do you think should be the king of the air, as in commercial aircraft, passenger carrying aircraft?
I should just explain. Sorry, Tony was just saying in the chat room what's funny about Niffer. It was just there because it's Jennifer. We quite often say so. It's like the Jen. Niffer. That's what's making me laugh. I'm not laughing at the name. I should just stress. It's getting all nervous now. Yeah.
Right. So next story.
Yes. Yeah. The next story.
This story is all yours. Oh, this is a bit worrying. I shouldn't have put this one for Matt. Really, not with his
Oh, great.
His fears.
Oh, I'm delighted. Okay. I need Captain Al immediately. I need help. I need help. This is on the Evening Standard. Standard.co.uk is the website, and the headline, which is why I'm now busy panicking. It says EasyJet plane forced to make emergency landing after drunk Brit tries to open the door at 30,000 feet. Here we go again. So an EasyJet flight to Gatwick was forced to make an emergency landing after a drunk passenger reportedly tried to open a door at 30,000 feet. The man, thought to be a Brit in his 30s, allegedly caused mayhem by charging up and down the aisles before attempting to pull open the hatch. The flight from Marrakesh in Morocco was forced to land in Bordeaux, France, where police boarded the plane and they dragged him off. Fellow passengers claim the man had immediately started guzzling spirits from duty-free after boarding the plane on Monday. They said he shoved his girlfriend after she tried to calm him down. Joe Mortel, 26, from Cheltenham, told The Sun he dragged his feet all the way to the police car. Another passenger said he was drinking rum or whiskey. The aircrew took the bottle off him, but it was too late. French police are reportedly investigating the incident which delayed the flight by 90 minutes. An EasyJet spokesman said EasyJet can confirm that flight EZY8896 from Marrakesh to London Gatwick on the 7th of March diverted to Bordeaux as a result of a passenger on board behaving in a disruptive manner. The aircraft was met by the police on arrival at Bordeaux and the passenger disembarked. While such incidents are rare, we take them very, very seriously. We do not tolerate abusive or threatening behaviour on board and always push for prosecution. And
so some comments in the chat room then, and well, it's quite a few comments in the chat room actually.
Yeah.
Jennifer has put, I don't think it's even possible to open a door at 30,000 feet. Very true. Aircraft doors, as most people know or don't know, they're made as a plug design. So when the aircraft is pressurised, the door, because if you notice, the aircraft doors open.
Outwards.
They come in and move.
They're plug doors.
Plug doors. They're plug doors. So when the aircraft is pressurised, you can't just willy-nilly open a door and open it up, unless you are, unless you're King Kong or He-Man or some other Marvel character with powers beyond the world. You won't get that door open unless it's on the ground, not pressurised. In which case you can open a door
easily. Well, that's good.
So nothing to worry about there.
As a nervous flyer, that actually makes me feel a lot better if it's not possible to do that. I must say, one of the comments in the chat room, going back to our earlier story, he was saying that that Captain Nick is the king of the skies, and therefore Miami Rick must be the prince. Absolutely, quite right. Absolutely.
And also, Tony S has put, it's a shame there are no ejector seats for drunken idiots.
Absolutely.
That would be a good addition to aircraft.
Yeah. Or, although, you see, the same system that I think should be applied to my coach when I'm driving school children around, in the fact that, a theme park, you go to a theme park, I'll say Alton Towers because that's the one that everybody knows here in the UK, but it could be, I don't know, in Orlando, Florida or whatever, but the things when you're on the roller coaster and there's these sort of like barriers that come down and pin you to the seat. If I had my way, that's what coaches would have on, so you could pin the people to the seat so they can't move around. And on the aeroplane, if you had that function where you could isolate a passenger's seat and actually pin him to the seat, then it wouldn't be, he could swear and make as much noise as he liked, but he wouldn't be causing anyone else any undue distress.
Well, I think it was at the last week's show, and we had a similar kind of story, and I said that there should be a brig in an aircraft.
I know,
the aircraft's brig.
Yeah, an ability where I suppose you can dump them into the hole underneath, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, David Corson's put them in the hold. There should be like a hatch that the cabin crew could lift up and just sling the people in there. Yeah, I mean, it would be blinking cold. It would be very cold in the hold, but there you go.
Yeah, but then it's a bit like prisoners, isn't it? Where they've been when they've done something wrong and they're complaining about their human rights. The minute that you broke the rules, and you're no longer, as far as I'm concerned, entitled to human rights if it's been proven that you've broken the rules. Frankly, but anyway, that's a topic for another show. I think
yes.
It could get a bit involved. Oh dear. Anyway, on to the next story.
So I'm just reading. Jen Niff has put, love the idea of having a brig.
Yes, I think it's very sensible. Yes.
Next story, on the Travel Mole site, and the headline, Thomas Cook cancels summer programme to Sharm el-Sheikh. Thomas Cook has become the latest airline to cancel all flights to Sharm el-Sheikh this summer. The airline has said that it's taken the decision, as there's been no change to the Foreign and Commonwealth advice with regards to travel to Sharm el-Sheikh Airport. In light of this, and given that we have no clear identification as to when the FCO Travel Office may change, Thomas Cook can confirm that it has taken the decision to cancel all bookings to Sharm el-Sheikh up to and including Monday the 31st of October, they've said. It had previously cancelled all flights until May the 25th. Last month, EasyJet announced it was cancelling flights to Sharm from Manchester, Luton and Gatwick for the rest of this summer, although it still plans to resume flights from Stansted on the 29th of May, assuming the government gives the go-ahead. Thomas Cook said customers who have already booked trips to up to October the 31st this year can cancel or amend their holidays to other destinations free of charge, paying only any difference in price. Those who book a new holiday departing before October the 31st will receive a £30 per person discount. Thomas Cook is already individually contacting customers whose bookings are affected, prioritising those due to travel soonest. It's said staff numbers have been increased in its call centres to deal with the volume of calls, and any customers with immediate concerns who are unable to visit one of the shops should call the dedicated customer phone line, which is open 24 hours. It's open, and the number is 01733 224 536. So if you've got any issues at all with your Thomas Cook booking, you can give those guys a call there. Booking conditions remain as normal for travel after Monday the 31st of October 2016, pending further FCO advice, they have said. So, I mean, this is kind of, we've covered this kind of last year, don't we, towards the end of last year, and this year it's
such a shame. I mean,
it's a shame.
We went not that long ago. In fact, I think it was literally, not even a year, I think, before it all went a bit crazy. I mean, it's a lovely, lovely part of the world. I mean, we had an incredible holiday. They were so nice. The staff were really friendly. The hotels are amazing and stuff. It is really sad that people are in this situation, really. But at the end of the day, you've got to wear on the side of caution, haven't you?
Yeah.
And until they're happy that security has improved well enough for and goodness forbids, and like no repeat of what apparently has already happened. I mean, it's just, I don't know.
There's some rubbish bit of news in the chat room if you want to take that from David.
Yeah, I do. That's an amazing result. We'll take a point.
Okay.
That's all I'm allowed to say. He's giving me evils now. I'm getting quite serious evils. Either that or he's glazed over. What's he doing? Yeah, now he's glazed over. Right, okay. Anyway, on to the next story before I'm kicked out of the studio. And the headline is, this is on the Flight Global website, and the headline is Fuel Price Decline Eases Qatar's concerns on the A380 efficiency. Now, ironically, I was reading stories this morning where they reckon the fuel price is about to start going up again.
Yeah, fuel's gone up in the UK
exactly,
for cars. Yeah,
absolutely, and it won't be long, I dare say, before aviation fuel and everything it follows suit. But anyway, Qatar Airways delayed delivery. Sorry, Qatar. Yes. What did I say?
Don't say Qatar.
Oh, Qatar. Right. Okay. That sounds like something you find in your chest.
I know.
Yeah. Sorry. So how am I supposed to say it?
But tell you what, just do
Qatar.
It. Do Qatar.
Qatar. We'll go with Qatar Airways delayed deliveries of 4 on-order Airbus A380s out of concern about the economics of operating the double-deck type before the recent fuel price decline. 4 A380s, which had been scheduled to join the Gulf carriers fleet this year and in 2017, were deferred by a year each. The airline's chief executive said today that the ITB travel fair in Berlin, a delay was agreed with Airbus more than 2 years ago because Qatar has needed to protect itself against high fuel costs. So he explains He adds that the A380 becomes very efficient when the oil is where it is now. If the oil price stays at around about $60 a barrel, says Al Baker there may be a possibility of Qatar Airways exercising options for 3 additional A380s. However, he sees the oil price reduction as a double-edged sword for airlines. Low fuel prices serve as a tailwind for carriers to reduce operating costs, but also lead to reduction in premium traffic as companies cut back travel costs, he observes. Meanwhile, the airline has notified Airbus when it wants to receive its remaining on-order A380s, and the manufacturer will now start the process of completion for these aircraft. He says Qatar has next A380 is to be delivered by the end of this year or in early 2017.
I knew today's show would be interesting.
Indeed, yes.
So Micah said it's actually pronounced Qatar.
Say that again.
Qatar. Oh,
Qatar.
you know, I think we should have an aviation podcast vocabulary or pronunciation special.
Yes,
we should do a podcast pronunciation special aviation show. That'd be good.
I think so. Yes, so get all as many of the pronunciations.
Everyone's saying definitely Qatar.
Okay,
Qatar.
All right,
Qatar. Let's just say an airline that is quite nice.
Right, okay. Anyway.
Moving on.
Before I end up in more trouble.
I know. God blimey. Flight Global is the source of this story, and the headline, Volotia.
Oh, here we go. Volotia. Because it's got T, isn't it? Or is it Tia? Volotia.
Oh
no, here we go.
Where
are our experts? We need experts.
I love Matt. Just research that airline on Google.
I shall try. Wish me luck. Yeah.
So Volotia will phase out all its Boeing 717s in favour of a fleet of 30 to 40 used Airbus A319s over the next 3 years. Chief Executive Carlos, awesome name, Munoz said the Spanish-headquartered low-cost carrier will replace its 19 717s with the mid-aged A319 narrowbodies of 10 to 12 years vintage, and typically second lease from large lessors like GCAS and Aerocap. Munoz was speaking to Flight Global in Toulouse as Volotia took delivery of their first A319 leased from AerCap. They describe themselves as a low-cost airline, and therefore simplicity and commonality in the fleet is a big thing. So we will definitely migrate entirely out of the 717 and entirely into the A319 in the next 2 to 3 years, says Munoz. The 717s will gradually transfer to other operators of the type, Munoz cites Delta Airlines, Hawaiian Airlines and Qantas as examples of these. He adds that the transition will mean that the Volotia moves away from its existing relationships with leases such as Falco Regional Aircraft and Boeing Capital. Having taken delivery of their first A319 on the 9th of March, Volotia is to receive a further 3 before the end of May. Munoz says the carrier has secured 6 in total and will source more from AerCap and GCAS over the coming years. These typically will be leased for a duration of 6 to 10 years, he says. The first 4 A319s will be stationed at Volotia's base in Nantes. Nantes? God, this is a pronunciation show today, isn't it? Where it will operate a dual fleet until May, after which I bet the chat room's going mad. After which all of the airline's 25 routes from the French city will be
They're all
operated.
saying goodbye to Jen. You're all right. It's fine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Bye, Jen.
You're safe. It's all safe. Yeah.
So the 4 A319s will be in the 150-seat configuration, where the 717s are in a 125-seat configuration.
Paul's got to go and cut the grass now.
Okay, Paul. Yeah. Enjoy cutting your grass. Put your thing in your ear, whatever you're using to listen to us.
Or something.
iPod or something. Yeah.
Absolutely. YouTube.
Volotia is looking at placing...
Volotia.
Yes. Volotia is looking at placing incoming A319s at its larger bases such as Bordeaux, Palermo, Toulouse and Venice, from smaller bases such as Asturias and Strasbourg. The airline will continue to deploy 717s where there is a commercial merit for them, Munoz says. Flight Global's Fleets Analyzer database shows that the Volotier's 717s variously released from Falco and Boeing Capital, where they're between 10 and 15 years old, which is quite young actually for a 717.
So a few details of Volotier. Now, obviously, the information is coming from Wikipedia,
Okay,
so it is open to interpretation. But it's Volotier because it is a Spanish airline. It's a Spanish low-cost airline, and it's headquartered in Barcelona, with bases in Spain, Italy, and France. It's got a fleet size of 21 aircraft. Flying to 52 destinations across the world.
Oh,
indeed.
When were they?
2011, founded in 2011.
Oh, so they're relatively
they're
new.
quite a young one.
A
young
airline,
aircraft. Yeah, absolutely. Their fleet consists of just two types. They've got the Airbus A319-100, and they've got the Boeing 717-200, as you discussed there. So So there we are.
Just reading Micah's comments in there that he's saying that they were talking in APG that when they finally retire the 777, they'll fly the crew back. On an MD-90, it seems those never die. MD-90s are a very similar size. They are similar aircraft. I think they're the same as the 717.
Yeah.
But I've never flown on that because the MD. I'm trying to think now which airline we had in the UK that flew the MD series. Gone off the top of my head. I did remember it just then. Anyway, moving swiftly on.
Indeed, yes. On to the next story, and this is on Flight Global, and the headline is Loose 787 cockpit seat spurs FAA replacement call. Oh dear, a Boeing 787 captain's seat came loose during a landing rollout, prompting the US Federal Aviation Administration to propose requiring operators to replace both crew seats in the cockpit. A notice of proposed rulemaking released on the 7th of March by the FAA would require 787 operators to replace each of the $15,141 crew seats within 3 years. The FAA is giving the 787 operators and the manufacturer 6 weeks to submit any comments about the proposal before a final rule is issued. Boeing has already advised 787 operators to replace the crew seats in an alert service bulletin issued in December 2014. The FAA rule, if adopted, would make the change mandatory within a 3-year window. So Boeing selected UK-based IPECO, or IPECO, not really sure, it's another one of those we're not quite sure how to pronounce it, to supply the crew seats for the 787-8 in 2005. The 787-8 entered service in October 2011 with All Nippon Airways, but the FAA received a report that a captain's seat moved uncommanded during a landing rollout during a failure in the seat horizontal actuator, the agency says in the 7th of March notice. An investigation determined it was not a fluke event but a flaw in the design. Press fit clutch pins in the actuator could migrate loose when subjected to repeated dynamic impact loading, the proposed rule says. The clutch pins can migrate loose, overturn and force the clutch plate separation, resulting in degraded or failed seat locking. The rule would require operators to inspect the crew seats with 1,000 flight hours if the proposal takes effect. The seats must be replaced within 72 months after the rule takes effect, according to the notice. The FAA estimates that the cost to replace both seats is a total of $30,282 per aircraft, plus 2 work hours costing a total of $170 per 787-8. No comments on the proposed rule have been received by the agency as of the 11th of March. Now that's quite interesting. I wonder if
loose seats, and those seats are electric on those, you know.
Yes. Well, this is what's happening. Basically, the actuator the seat is moving on its own because the clutch pins are wearing out. Well, and then this is the issue. But surely, if this has been identified as a manufacturing fault, presumably the cost should be down to the airline, shouldn't it? Not the airline, the manufacturer. Surely that would be down to Boeing, wouldn't it?
Well, if it is, but I don't know who manufactures the. It may be a different company that manufactures the seats, because obviously aircraft, such as Boeing or Airbus, they have different parts manufactured by different companies around the world. But it depends who makes the seats for these aircraft. But for those, I've actually, when we sat on the flight deck of the A400M at Riyadh last year, and me and Pip were there. And you sit in there, and it's just a little bank of switches, and you press them, and the seat it moves sideways and backwards and forwards, and it's on a little track, and it's very, very fluid, very a good excellent movement. And I must admit, it would be unnerving if you were on on finals or taking off for the seat to start to move.
Yeah,
in a certain direction.
And this is the issue, isn't it? I mean, there's obviously a massive safety issue, isn't there? But yes. Anyway, moving on to the next story, and this airline features very heavily, as I say, we said at the top of the show, very exciting because a certain Grant and Steve have released a new episode, haven't they? Yeah,
they've released an episode regarding the A380
indeed.
For this airline. But,
yeah, absolutely.
The website on Breaking Travel News, this one, and the headline. Emirates Airlines reveals new 777 business class seat. Emirates has unveiled its new business class seat for the Boeing 777 aircraft at the ITB in Berlin. That's the International Travel Trade Show in Berlin. The new seat will make its commercial debut on Emirates' 170th Boeing 777 aircraft, a 300ER version, which the airline expects to receive in November this year. The current Boeing 777 business class seats are already in an industry-leading premium product, and what this new seat does give is take from the design of that comfort to a whole new level. They gave the seat a fresh and modern look, retained the existing features that the customers love, and added a few more, while improving the seating and sleeping comfort. Tim Clark, President Emirates Airlines, has said, providing customers with the best possible experience has always been at the heart of the new product development with Emirates. It's evolution as well as revolution, he says. We're always working towards the next big leap, but at the same time we continually look at all the little ways we can enhance what we already offer. So for these of you who can afford to fly business class with Emirates, I have, but it was free, so I didn't pay for it. Yeah. We believe the new business class seats further strengthens the experience and value positions for our premium customers. They're very excited about the arrival of their first Boeing 777 later this year with the new seats, and would like to see how the customers are going to respond to it. Anyone at Emirates wishing to invite me and Matt to test those seats?
Absolutely. Oh, more than happy.
Anyone from Emirates listening to the show, do get in touch with us, podcast@planetalkinguk.com. We'd love to come and test those seats at Emirates and review them on the show.
And a full and frank analysis of our experience obviously will be shared with
the design and shape of Emirates' new business class seats were inspired by the interior of a modern sports car.
Ooh.
Captured in the diamond stitch pattern of a light grey, full leather covered, ergonomically designed headrest and its sleek overall feel.
Love it.
Designed with enhanced customer comfort in mind, the new seat has a pitch of 72 inches.
Wow.
And can be electronically moved into a fully lie-flat sleeping position at 180 degrees.
Lovely.
Retaining many of the most popular features of the current business class seats on Emirates, the 777's updated seat layout and additional amenities feature a conveniently located minibar, one of the industry's largest personal TV screens at 23 inches, and the latest touchscreen controller for the seat, an award-winning ICE in-flight entertainment system. Customers will also have a USB port for charging their devices.
Lovely.
As well as an HDMI port to stream content from their personal devices directly onto their IFE screens, as well as improved lighting options for reading as well as relaxing in their seats. Emirates has also redesigned the privacy panel between the seats and the literature pocket, footrest, shoe and storage area. And they've also expanded the personal meal table as well. I mean, we've got no pictures of this seat as yet.
No, it's a shame.
Hopefully, if we get to see some photos of these seats, we'll show them to you on an episode.
Jennifer Parkinson has put in the chat room that she says that I think all of us in the chat room would accept the free seats from Emirates too, I expect.
Yeah,
I can't imagine why that would be. Yeah, there'd be a queue. I think
there would be a queue. I think we'd all love some business class seats.
Michael was saying Emirates makes a more comfortable seat on its 777, and United is making them less comfortable by going 10 across in economy instead of 9.
Oh yeah, I think I heard that story. Actually, we haven't got it on today, but yeah, I heard that they're adding another seat in the dimension of the aircraft, which obviously squeezes more in.
So you get another 10, 12? No, we might get another 20.
That. Yeah, it's more than that. I forget what it is now, the exact figures. But it's
so how many rows do they have?
How many? Well, they had.
I suppose it depends on the configuration, but
I think it's.
30.
I think they do a 3, a 4, and a 3. If I remember,
right,
I can't remember, or it might be 3. It might be 3, 3, and 3. But they're adding another. I think they're adding another seat into the centre section, so it'll be 3, 4, 3. The aisles will be even smaller as well.
Yeah.
Oh, what's this? Tony S. Correct. Looks like the KC-135s will outlast the KC-10s.
Yeah, well, they're just having a little chat.
Oh, they're having a chat between themselves.
Yeah, they're having a chat between themselves about those. But yes,
we'll just leave the chat room to get on.
Yes, absolutely. David's making comments about us pronunciating things incorrectly. I think, which I don't blame him for.
Next story is from Matt.
Yes.
It's one of these great stories I love because the Telegraph is. We're not going to put the picture on the screen yet. But if you read the story, Matt, we'll view the huge faux pas that the Telegraph have made.
Oh, really?
Carry on.
Okay. Is this some kind of test you've now set me?
No. I'll test you at the end. I'll test you at the end of the story. If you read it, and we'll see.
Here we go. Right. Okay. So this is on the telegraph.co.uk, and the headline is "Major alert at Heathrow after man locks himself in the jet cockpit." He says, choosing his words very carefully. Security staff are said to have struggled to reach the man through the bomb-proof doors designed to thwart terror attacks. A major security alert was declared at Heathrow Airport after an intruder boarded an empty airliner and locked himself in the bomb-proof cockpit. A 38-year-old man is to appear in court this week in connection with the incident, which took place on Saturday morning. The intruder managed to breach security on the airport perimeter, broke through a cordon and climbed aboard the parked British Airways 747. After realising he had been spotted in the cabin of the empty passenger jet, the intruder fled to the flight deck and slammed shut the cockpit doors. Security staff were said to be unable at first to reach him through the impenetrable doors, which are designed to protect the pilot and co-pilot should a terrorist attempt to take over the plane mid-flight. It was a very difficult and complex situation, and in the end the fire brigade had to be called to the plane and carry out a long and very protracted operation to get into the cockpit from the outside, said an unnamed source. Eventually they managed to gain access to the cockpit and police were able to storm in and arrest the intruder. The source said that it was a terrifying situation, adding, "Here is a man who not only has managed to go airside at one of the world's busiest airports, but he has also successfully got into a Boeing 747 jetliner and found it open and was able to climb aboard." That's really worrying, isn't it? When he got onto the flight deck and barricaded himself in using the plane's own anti-terrorist equipment. Police confirmed there had been an incident on a parked aircraft at Heathrow, but said that it is not believed to be terrorist related. In a statement, a spokesman for the Metropolitan Police said Luis Pedro Verdasca dos Santos Costa, 38, of Stonehill Road, Hounslow, West London, was charged on Saturday the 5th with 2 counts of unlawfully being airside and of unlawfully being on an aircraft.
Naughty.
Indeed.
And not a good thing. This just proves that the security was obviously a bit lax this particular day at Heathrow.
Yes,
not good at all.
No,
but
indeed.
So we're gonna ask a little question here for those in the chat room. Matt, yourself. So Matt, this story was about a
Boeing 747.
Right, okay. So what's a Boeing 747? How many engines is a Boeing 747?
Well, my understanding, and I don't know a great deal about it, is a 747 usually has 4 engines.
Very good, yeah.
Yes.
And how big is that Boeing 747?
It's quite big.
It's fairly big.
It's quite big.
Yeah,
so,
the Queen of the Skies.
The Queen of the Skies, as we were discussing earlier. So I've just put the picture up if you're watching on YouTube.
I have to say, this particular Boeing 747 here...
So the first thing I can say here is that it's clearly only got 2 engines.
That's very correct, yeah.
So now you're going to ask me what the actual aircraft is, and I wouldn't know.
I'll give you a clue.
Okay.
It's not an American-built aircraft.
Okay. So it's probably an Airbus of some description then.
Yeah.
And the A319.
Do you know what? You are... if I had a hat, I'd take 6 of them off. You're one number a bit too high there.
Oh, am I? Oh,
you're only one.
Oh, yeah, but that's no good to me. It's a bit like Ken Bruce's.
I know.
Ken Bruce's.
But that was very good. I'm actually got goosebumps now. I literally have got goosebumps here.
Yes. So what is it? So it's not a 319. What is it?
When I tried to scan the actual registration number,
Yeah.
and I think that came up as a 3. I mean, Graham has put on there. Hello, Graham. A 319. It comes up with a 318 Airbus A3, the smallest one they do.
So it was ELMP, isn't it?
Is it ELMP?
Yeah.
I shall actually double check while we are online.
Because it's like for those of you listening, I listen to Radio 2 quite a lot, and there's something called Pop Master, and he gives away 1 year. One of the questions is always about a year question about what
is
year
it
a song was
EUPM?
released. It was. I read it as Echo Lima Papa Mike ELPM.
ELPM.
He's busy looking up, ladies and gentlemen. We want to be really sure.
No, it's not ELPM.
Is it not? Okay.
EUPW or EUPM? EU.
I don't know.
PM.
Anyway.
Hold on. There we go.
Not sure. The tail looks too small for an A318, doesn't it?
So I'm just looking.
Yeah. Perhaps
Hold
I
on.
was
It
right.
probably
Perhaps
is
I was.
Actually, you probably were right. Yeah.
Perhaps
I know.
it was a 19 after all that. So I might not have been 1 year out.
The picture's not got quite good quality to see. Hold on. E.
Oh dear. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. It's fine. Okay, I do love dead air, by the way.
I know. It's good. No, it is a 319.
It is a 319.
Yeah, it is
okay.
very good. Sorry, 319. My correction. But getting back to the story in hand.
Yeah.
Getting back to the story in hand.
Mm.
Yeah, I do love it when big major tabloids such as the Telegraph use generic pictures to explain a story that is concerning aircraft.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, at least they've got the airline. I suppose they've got.
Yes,
right.
at least it says British Airways.
It does a British Airways on. It's just a completely different manufacturer and a completely different aircraft altogether.
Okay. Yeah,
and that annoys me.
I'm feeling quite proud of myself, if I'm honest with you, because it's just not only have I managed to successfully identify that it should have 4 engines and not 2. So right, well that wasn't too painful a test then.
Right, so pats on the back, please, via post to.
Excellent. Yeah.
So next story.
There is hope for me yet, ladies and gentlemen.
And
also Tony said the A318 doesn't run out of Heathrow.
No, I think that's London City.
Must be the
London City
319. Yeah. Mind you, the British Airways A319 goes out of London City as well, doesn't it?
No, it's the one that goes to New York route.
Oh, I don't know. I'm pushing my luck now, aren't I? Anyway, the next.
There's been so many pronunciation faux pas today. It's just crazy.
Anyway, straight on to the next story. This is on Flight Global.
Flight Global then. Allegiant unveils 22 new routes. So Las Vegas-based Allegiant Air has unveiled another wave of new routes, which will see the carrier adding 3 new points to its network in the coming months. The ultra-low-cost carrier will begin service to Sonoma County in California in May, followed by Albuquerque in New Mexico and Evansville in Indiana in June. Allegiant will also start non-stop services from Albuquerque to both Austin and Las Vegas and connect Sonoma County with Las Vegas and Phoenix Mesa at Evansville. It will offer flights to Orlando Sanford as well. The airline will also launch 17 other new routes connecting existing points in its Allegiant network, which will operate twice weekly on all the new routes, with a mix of A320 aircraft and Boeing MD-80 aircraft. Allegiant will not face direct competition for most of its new routes, schedules and Innovator show. It will, however, compete directly against 3 airlines on service already between Los Angeles and Reno, American Airlines and Southwest Airlines, and also United Airlines as well. Allegiant will compete against Southwest on services between Albuquerque and Las Vegas, and against Delta Airlines on flights between Los Angeles and Memphis. The addition of the Albuquerque fits with Allegiant's ongoing strategy to expand to U.S. mid-sized cities. The airline's Vice President of Network and Pricing, Lucas Johnson, says the carrier sees an opportunity in offering competing services between Albuquerque and Las Vegas. Southwest cut frequencies significantly in the last couple of years, he tells Flight Global. Those who are in the chat room, just while I'm reading, who has anyone ever flown Allegiant? Let me know what Allegiant are like. We want to know what Allegiant are like. If any of you have flown them in the chat room. So Southwest operates up to four times daily non-stop services between the two cities' schedules in the Innovata show. The number of flights operated by the Dallas-based carrier on the route has fallen by around 25% when compared to 2013. After launch, as for launching services, between Albuquerque and Austin, Allegiant's Johnson says the Texan city is among the top unserved markets from Albuquerque. Compared with Albuquerque, Sonoma County and Evansville are smaller destinations. And Sonoma County in California's wine country, that'd be nice to go there, is an interesting city to Allegiant. It's a unique city that we are all excited about, says Johnson. Allegiant's latest new routes also include 4 new seasonal services to Destin Fort Walton Beach in Florida, a new destination that Allegiant announced in January. Service to the airport will begin in May, but the airline has already announced additional frequencies on the 2 Destin Fort Walton routes unveiled in January. With the latest routes, Allegiant will offer a seasonal service to Destin Fort Walton from 6 destinations this summer. If Matt will put that up on the screen there's a shot there of the Allegiant aircraft, and that's actually taking off. I think that's in
an
front.
Amazing background.
Yeah, I think that's going out of Vegas. I think past the New York strip in Vegas. I think where that is on the strip there. But yeah, there's Allegiant's. There's their logo there, as you can see. So good news for people who fly with Allegiant.
Absolutely.
Mike has put that he's not flown with Allegiant, but they are being investigated for safety. A new story this week, and is also known for poor service. They are a low cost based on Las Vegas. Yeah, there we go. So there we go.
Yeah, he also gives a heads up to the airplane geeks as well, because apparently in their with Todd Curtis, he talks about aviation media reporting as well, and we often comment about that, don't we? Where how poor they are, frankly, at getting their facts right. Sometimes they tend to over sensationalize very, very simple stories, don't they? Yes. Anyway, on to the last story. This is in the commercial section
this is one of our local airports to where we are here.
Yes, absolutely. And it's also, for us, it's a very local rag as well. It's Ipswich, which is just up the road from us, and it is the Ipswich Star. So
David will like this one, because he's an Ipswich supporter.
Oh dear. Ipswichstar.co.uk. So it is Stansted Airport reports busiest ever February. Stansted Airport has reported its busiest ever February, with more than 1.69 million passengers passing through its terminal building during that month. Wow. The figure represents a 15% increase on the total of just under 1.47 million achieved in February last year, and marks a 23rd consecutive month of passenger growth for Stansted, even adjusting for this year's extra leap day. Last month's total beats the previous February best recorded in 2007, and the monthly load factor of 84.9%. That's a really high load factor, isn't it? 84.9%, a measure of how many seats are available on the flight that are actually filled, was also a record for the airport in February. Stansted's rolling annual passenger total now stands at more than 22.96 million. That's an 11.5% increase compared with a total of just under 20.6 for the previous 12 months, and the highest achieved by the airport since the year to August 2008. Or 2008. Andrew Harrison, Managing Director at Stansted Airport, said the upward trend in passenger traffic at Stansted continued during the month as we experienced our busiest ever February, the 23rd consecutive month of passenger growth and the highest annual passenger total since August 2008. This strong demand continues to be driven by record numbers of passengers for each flight arriving and departing from Stansted, plus airlines increasing capacity on key routes including Berlin, Cologne, Dublin, Prague and the Scottish cities of Edinburgh and Glasgow. He added, Stansted is the UK's fastest growing major airport at the heart of the UK's innovation corridor, and we remain focused on providing passengers with even more choice of airlines and destinations to better serve our region's needs. Cargo volumes at Stansted also saw a significant increase last month, with a tonnage of 19,041 being up 9.4% compared with February last year. It's nice to hear a little bit of something about the cargo side of things, actually. You don't really sort of hear much about that, do you? This pushed the rolling annual total to 240,505 tonnes. That's an increase of 4.5% on the previous 12 months. So it's looking very, very rosy. Happy days for Stansted.
Yeah, it's a shame we couldn't get a cheaper flights there this year when we go to Malta in June. But
yeah,
I do.
Where are you flying from this year?
We're flying from Heathrow this year.
Yeah.
To Malta with Air Malta. I think it was Heathrow, yeah.
Well, Heathrow and Gatwick, they just take so long to get to.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter which way round the M25 you go, does it? You mention the word M25, and everyone who lives in this part of the world certainly goes, ugh.
I don't think. For me, it's not the road networks round Gatwick and Heathrow. It's actually the roads that lead from where we live to get to London Gatwick and London Heathrow, which
M11 has made a huge. The A11 dualling has made such a huge difference. In fact, quite often I go A11 way over other. Oh.
Jennifer Parkinson in the chat room, she's put that she loves Stansted as well, but she passed through there last week. All very efficient, but their sandwich prices are too high.
Now, in my world, that's a very important consideration, is the cost of sandwiches. It has to be said.
Definitely.
Yes, well,
you can't beat airport sandwiches.
You can't.
No,
you can't. Well, you can.
Wait.
You can, is the long and the short of it. Anyway, that's where we bring the commercial section to a close. We're going to take a very quick break. Then we've got a little segment from Pilot Pip, and then we've got the military news and some listener feedback. So we'll be right back after these very short messages.
Find this and other great shows at the Aviation Media Network.
thevoicesinyourhead.com.
The Plain Talking UK podcast is a voluntary project that aims to keep you informed with the latest aviation-related stories from newswires across the globe.
Producing our content does cost money though. If you enjoy our show, why not help us keep on the air by making a donation towards the server and website hosting fees through PayPal. Any contributions would be greatly appreciated.
Are you an Amazon user? If so, why not do your shopping through the link on our website? There's no cost to yourself, and Amazon pay us a small referral fee on qualifying purchases.
To find out more about the show and to meet the team, take yourself to our website www.plaintalkinguk.com,
or find us on Facebook at facebook.com/plaintalkinguk, on Twitter via @plaintalkinguk, or get in touch via email on podcast@plaintalkinguk.com. Thanks for listening.
Aviation media has long been the domain of the newspapers and magazines.
Well, not anymore. I'm Steve Vischer.
And I'm Grant McCarran, and we're bringing aviation right into your radio.
Yes, we're making aviation cool and interesting for everyone.
Hang on, aviation's always been cool. Check this out. How cool is this?
Grant, turn that down. Here at Plane Crazy Down Under, we've got pilots, engineers, air traffic controllers, industry leaders, even politicians dropping by to talk to us about the amazing world of aviation right here in Australia and occasionally New Zealand as well.
Wow, that's cooler than I thought, mate.
Find us at planecrazydownunder.com, on iTunes, or lurking about on other people's podcasts just like this one.
We've got crazy accents and lots of great aviation content.
And we promise not to talk about the cricket.
No, never. Not the cricket. Quack, 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 quack. What is cricket anyhow?
Something we win a lot. Oh, there
Oh!
And we are back.
Well, hello. That
Hello,
was quick.
that
Yes.
was quick. So we have got a segment from Pip,
We have.
and we've got a little snippet of voice feedback.
We have.
From one of our listeners and one of our very good friends, Mark Maiden.
Yep.
And then we've got a bit of air show, or we've got the military news as well, but we've got a little bit of air show news as well, just a few of the air shows that are coming up in the next month
absolutely.
in the UK.
Yeah, we're going to cover that in more in depth, hopefully, in a couple of weeks, because we're hoping to have a guest on that we can talk to about that, because obviously it's all a little bit up, literally, excuse the pun, it's all a little bit up in the air, isn't it?
We have got a guest coming on the show soon who knows everything there is to know about what's been going on in the UK with regards to air shows, and also display and stuff.
So stay tuned for that. Obviously, we'll keep you posted when that official date has been released. But so we're gonna cover the air shows.
Yeah.
But obviously, it's all a bit nerve wracking, because although several dates have been released, we're not quite sure what's
been cancelled.
Exactly.
So who's coming on now then? What's up next?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to welcome on board our resident, well-trained, he's toilet-trained and everything. It is our resident pilot, and it's time for a little bit of a chat about good old-fashioned airplane safety.
Plane safety from the flight deck with Pilot Pip.
Everybody in the Plane Talking UK world. Hope you're all well. It's Pip here with another very, very short segment this week. Last week we looked at some of the lights that we find on aircraft, all the navigation lights and the strobe lights and all that sort of thing. And as promised, I thought I'd just finish that off and look at some of the air traffic control lights that occasionally get used to pass air traffic control instructions in lieu of radio communication. So at some airports, some very small GA type airports, they may not have radio capability. Or of course some GA aircraft in fact don't have any radio capability. Gliders, the small LAA home built type aircraft. Sometimes it's not necessary, it's not legally required to have a radio and have two-way communications with ATC. And instead what you can do is have ground-to-air lighting signals. And these would also be used in the event of a communications failure, if your radio fails. So I'm just going to quickly run through these and finish it off with a quick story. My one and only experience of actually using ground-to-air lighting. So it works on this. There's three colours that they use. There's a green, a red and a white light. And in combinations of steady or flashing lights, it can mean different things to the pilot. And they also have different meanings depending on whether you're on the ground taxiing around the airport or you're in the air. So let's have a look at them first. Let's look at the green lights first of all. So if you're a pilot taxiing around on the runway and you receive from the tower a steady green light, that means you're cleared for takeoff. If you're flying in the air and you receive a steady green light, it means you're cleared to land. A flashing green light, on the other hand, if you're on the ground, means you're cleared to start taxiing. And if you're already flying, then a flashing green light means return for landing. And you would expect that to be followed by a steady green light clearing you to land. Then on the red lights, a steady red light, if you're on the ground, means stop. Pretty obvious. Red means bad, stop. Red for stop. If you're in the air, a steady red light means give way and continue circling. A flashing red light, on the other hand, if you're on the ground, means taxi clear of the runway. And a flashing red, if you're flying around the circuit, means airport unsafe, do not land. And then you can have a combination of red and green. You can have an alternating red and green light, which has one meaning regardless of whether you're in the air or on the ground. And that means exercise extreme caution. So that could be used for a whole number of different reasons. But if you see a alternating red-green, means be super careful. And then the other light we have is a white light. So if you're on the ground and you see a flashing white light, it means return to the starting point on the airport, so return back to the apron. And actually the white light doesn't have any use for aircraft flying in the air. Now, these light signals, to be honest with you, one of these things you learn when you're first getting your license at PPL. Carlos probably knows all about them, having just sat and passed his communications exam. Insert applause here, if you will. So I'm sure Carlos is an expert in these lights. But actually, to be honest, it's one of those things you learn and then forget about, because it really doesn't get used very often at all. On modern aircraft, on airliners certainly, we have multiple redundancies when it comes to radio. We have at least 2 or 3 separate radios that we can use to communicate with ATC. So radio failures are pretty rare. But the one time I did experience this was back when I was first learning to fly. I was on, I think it was probably my second or maybe my third ever solo flight. So I was very wet and green behind the ears. and I took off and was just meant to be doing a short cross-country navigation exercise. And I don't know how, but I suffered what I assumed to be a radio failure. I lost all communications with ATC. I was trying to call them, but I just couldn't hear them, and I couldn't hear anyone else on the frequency. So I thought I'd had a radio failure. What actually I think had happened was I just wasn't particularly experienced with the radio set. It was one of these very old, clunky 1960s things with great big chunky buttons, and you've got to depress one and unpress the other one to make the whole thing work. It's a little bit complicated, and I think I just had some finger trouble and managed to screw the whole thing up, to be honest. But what I did, assuming I had a radio failure, was to set the appropriate code on the transponder, on the squawk, which is 7600, which is the code for loss of communications. So if the transponder was working, and there was no reason why it wouldn't be, then ATC would see that and realise that I had a radio failure. And then I returned to the airport, to the airfield, and took up the circuit. I flew around the circuit at a slightly above circuit height, I think something like 1,500 feet as opposed to 1,000 feet. And I was looking outside, looking down at the tower, waiting and expecting to see one of these lights, a green light, clearing me to land. And I don't know what I imagined the light would look like, but I think I had something in my head. I imagined something like the huge bat signal, a great big bright light that would be seen for miles around. But it took me 3 or 4 goes around the circuit before I began to see what I thought was the light. And really what I was seeing was a very small light. And in fact, what ATC use is just these little LED lamps, and they're really not very bright at all. So you've got to have quite a keen eye to spot them. So I was expecting something very bright and obvious, but actually what it was a very dim, quite hard to see light. So I wasn't 100% sure, actually. So it took me a few goes round before I was confident that what I was seeing was in fact the ATC ground-to-air light, the green light clearing me to land. So I proceeded to land, and whilst I was in the circuit, I had another fiddle with the radio. I pressed some more buttons, and suddenly the thing sprang into life again, which just proves that it was probably just finger trouble on my part and not a radio failure at all. Anyway, I landed and had a little chat with the guy in the tower there, and he said, "Yep, don't worry about it. That was absolutely the right thing to do, to squawk the radio failure code and obey the ground-to-air light, the steady green light clearing me to land." Had he flashed a red light at me, then I don't know what I would have done, because a red flashing light means, of course, airport unsafe, do not land. So that would have really been a test for a brand new pilot, but luckily it didn't come to that. Anyhow, very short segment this week. That's ground-to-air lighting. I'll be back hopefully next time with a segment on who knows what, something else. If anyone's got any suggestions, then feel free to email into the boys, and I'll certainly entertain any suggestions. Until the next time then, folks, take care and fly safe. See you all again soon. Bye.
And a massive thank you to Pip for that, as always. Your segment on lights again, and other squawks and bits and pieces, and radio stuff. Because I did.
You know, he's quite right. Yes, Carl did pass.
Yes, I passed my radio communications written exam this week at my flying school. So that's another one to tick off on the steady long road to getting my PPL.
So what's the next step?
I've got my oral communications exam next week, which is all about doing the correct radio calls and stuff like that, and MATS penetration and stuff, which sounds a bit weird, but that's military air traffic control zone penetration, flying through and stuff like that.
Cool. No, that's good. Excellent.
And we've also had time to get a cup of tea.
We have indeed.
Which is always good.
Absolutely.
We've been
listening to it in the studio while...
How many exams have I got left to go, Masha? God,
several.
Blimey.
About 1 million.
It's a few more. I think there's something like 7 or 8 exams I've got left to do.
No, but I mean, well done though, because I mean, I know. We were chatting and we were talking about it last week in last week's show, weren't we? You were quite nervous about this one because it was a bit of a head scratcher, and and things. So it's
Thank you, Myla. Thank you, Myla. Thank you very much.
But
Thank you, Jenny.
But
Thank
a very
you.
acceptable,
Thank you, Tony.
a very, very acceptable pass rate as well. So well done. So we look forward to an update.
Yeah, Mike has put very right. Yeah, oral communications, Carlos. Guess you better listen. Yeah. If it was like if it was a DJing exam,
right?
how to talk while doing a disco, then I'd be fine.
You'd be all right. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good news.
So we have got the military section next, or segment next, and after that we're going to play just some voice feedback we had from my God, mine's gone blank. From Mark Maiden. Oh, blimey, it's been a long show.
Indeed.
But we're going to play that, and we've just got a little bit of air show news as well that we're going to play.
Okay. Yep.
And give you some information. So,
right,
if you're ready,
yes, let's
do some military aviation.
Yeah, let's.
So the first news story then on the military aviation segment this week on Flight Global's site is the headline. The RAAF, or the Royal Australian Air Force, KC-30 to begin P-8A refuelling trials in early 2017. Cool. So the Royal Australian Air Force is preparing to add the Boeing P-8A Poseidon to its growing list of aircraft that can be refueled by its Airbus KC-30A multi-role tanker type. Canberra recently certified its A330-based KC-30 to refuel the Boeing C-17 Globemaster III and the Lockheed Martin F-35 Lightning II, and is now pressing forward with P-8A trials. Australia could produce as many as 12 P-8As and has already committed to 8 examples, with the first delivery expected in 2017. US Naval Air Systems Command, NAVAIR, will hire Boeing to support the certification effort over 14 flights beginning in 2017, according to a recent contracting notice. Flight testing is scheduled to begin in February 2017, and the expected period of performance of the forthcoming contract with Boeing is from November 2016 to June 2017, according to the prosecution notice, which seeks comments by the 10th of March. The RAAF has also been working with the US Air Force to expand the range of aircraft it can refuel from the KC-30s by the fly-by-wire boom refueling system and wing-mounted aerial refueling pods as well. On the 25th of September, the KC-30 became the second foreign-owned tanker to refuel the F-35, following on the heels of Italy's Boeing KC-767. On the 10th of February, an Australian KC-30 passed fuel to a USAF C-17 over Edwards Air Force Base in California. Australia is building its component to 7 KC-30 tanker transports, 10 C-17s, and eventually 72 F-35As. Wow. Spirit Aerosystems began major assembly of Australia's first 737-800ERX based P-8A armed maritime patrol aircraft in November. And in January, the Navy put Boeing on contract for Canberra's second batch of P-8As, bringing the total number RAAF by to 8, with options for another 4. And if Matt brings that up there's a picture there of... there we go.
Just bring it down a little bit.
There we go. And there it is refueling the C-17 in air there, which is pretty cool.
It just looks so amazing when they do anything like that.
I know, that's... Because you
looks so much like just an ordinary jumbo jet, doesn't it?
But for me, you're used to seeing small fast jets being refueled in midair,
but not big tankers.
A huge
like
tanker refueling a small little fast jet. But here you've got the tanker refueling the C-17 in air. 2 huge, that's the 330 refueling the huge 2 aircraft, which are pretty in close proximity to each other as well.
Yeah, cool.
Imagine the wash from the engines of the 330 in front there. I mean, that takes some flying.
The people involved, I mean, at the end of the day, they are incredibly experienced and skilled pilots, aren't they? There's no two ways about it. But it was Tony was saying that the KC-30 is a great platform. It's so versatile as well, isn't it?
Yeah, and Mike has quite rightly pointed out the P-8 is based on the 737.
Really?
Yeah, it's
that's the weird thing because it's still got all the windows and everything in it, so it still looks like
the military
like
ones,
a normal, just look like an off-the-shelf one that passengers would go on. To
they're
go on
fairly well modified.
Yeah. Oh, are they? Okay. Yeah. From the outside, it looks very, very normal. But anyway, okay. On to the next story. This is on Flight Global, and the headline is: India improves funding for 2 more. Now, explain to me what this is. Is it II-76?
That's the Illusion, the IL-76.
Right. Now, we covered a story like this last week.
Yeah, we did.
I thought I'd have learned, wouldn't you? But so India improves funding for 2 more Ilusha 76 AEW aircraft. The Indian government has approved the budget for the purchase of 2 additional airborne early warning, which is what AEW stands for, platforms from Israel Aerospace Industries, AI. IAI. That's real. My brain can't cope with that. The approval made by the Cabinet Committee on Security, the CCS, provides a special budget for approximately $1.2 billion for the purchase of 2 Ilyushin 76 transports to carry the Israeli-made Falcon sensor? That's the big dome, isn't it, that goes on the top?
That's it, yeah.
Yeah. So India acquired 3 converted Ilyushin 76s in 2004, which were delivered between 2009 and 2011, and there were contracted options for additional aircraft. According to the Indian sources, New Delhi intends to purchase the additional Ilyushin 76s from Uzbekistan. They will be modified in the facilities of the Tashkent mechanical plant in Uzbekistan in cooperation with the Tangrov, in cooperation with Beriv in Tangrov, Russia. IAI's ELTA division will install the radar in the IL-76 dome in Israel, with the other sensors that comprise of the Falcon system. The 2 additional Falcon AEW systems will include upgraded sensors and will be capable of working seamlessly with the ones installed in 3 operational aircraft. So I'll just bring that photo up very, very quickly. That is what we're talking about. So that's the little aeroplane there, and that's that dome, isn't it? That's part of the AEW system that they install on that particular aircraft.
Looks pretty cool. You're used to seeing the AWACS, which is obviously a Boeing product.
I remember when we were at the air show, because there was an example, wasn't there?
That was the AWACS we saw. The Boeing one. This is obviously the Russian-built Illusion.
But I was just saying, I'm amazed that dome doesn't make massive differences.
Really unstable.
Well, yeah, absolutely. To the way that it must make a huge difference to the way the aircraft flies.
We've got an extra news story in to come at the end of this, which if Matt logs into Gmail, I've sent that to there to bring up on the screen.
Yeah. Okay.
But we'll move on to the next
you
story.
Do the next story.
If I just move this here like that, we're just going to do a quick bit of moving around.
Okay. Yeah.
There we go.
All right. Okay.
And
fair enough.
Okay. Well.
So you carry on then, and I shall look that up.
Right, so the next story on Intelligent Aerospace website. Bell prepares to build 24 new Marine Corps AH-1Z attack helicopters in a $55.9 million contract. So, here we go, just received an email. There we go, I'll leave that with you, Matt.
Yeah, okay.
So, Bell Helicopter in Fort Worth, Texas are preparing to build 24 new build AH-1Z Viper attack helicopters and associated helicopters in a contract worth $55.9 million, Navy contract announced last week. Officials of the Naval Air Systems Command are asking Bell Helicopters, Textron Incorporated company, to buy long lead parts and components necessary to build 24 Lot 14 AH-1Z helicopters as part of the H-1 upgrade program. The AH-1Z is a twin-engine attack helicopter based on the AH-1W Super Cobra. There we go. Just passing my phone to Matt. That features a 4-blade rotor system, uprated transmission, and new target sighting system. It has upgraded avionics, weapons, and electro-optical sensors designed to find targets at long ranges and attack them with precision weapons. The Marine Corps H-1 upgrades program is building new helicopters as well as rebuilding legacy AH-1W Super Cobra attack helicopters. The UH-1N twin Huey utility helicopters with the state-of-the-art design interiors are also built for the purpose as well. The program seeks to upgrade AH-1Ws to AH-1Zs and UH-1Ns to UH-1Ys. Long lead items involve system components that require the longest time to build, which could delay overall system production if money isn't allocated for production in the early process. And Matt's got that story ready. That's good. Yeah. Excellent.
Well done, me.
On this contract, Bell Helicopters will do the work in Fort Worth and Amarillo, Texas, and should be finished by June 2017. And if you want to find out more about that contract and those helicopters, you can on the bellhelicopter.com website.
Yep.
So a little picture there of these, the AH-1Z helicopter. There we go.
Wow.
The Cobra.
They look so cool.
They do look cool. Very, very similar. When you look at these, very similar kind of thing to the Apaches and stuff. Very similar to the Apaches. The Super Cobra looks pretty menacing.
It certainly does. Anyway, on to the final, the penultimate story, I should say, of the military section. Anyway, this is on the RAF website, and the headline is sorry, I was trying to do too many things at once. The headline is 45R Squadron celebrates 100 years. So in celebration of their formation of 100 years. 100 years ago, number 45 Reserve Squadron from the Royal Air Force College, Cranwell, laid a wreath at the memorial outside HMS Sultan, the site where the squadron was formed on the 1st of March 1916. The ceremony at the HMS Sultan saw the parading of the squadron standard, followed by the laying of a wreath by the officer commanding 45 Reserve Squadron Wing Commander David Catlow and officer commanding 45 F Squadron Air Training Corps Flight Lieutenant Maria Mugridge and a 1-minute silence led by Padre Squadron Leader Colin Odell. Whilst the airfield is now a housing estate, the technical site remains MOD property, and a small memorial outside the main gate commemorates the many forms which early aviation took and the inevitable obstacles which confronted the early pioneers. Wing Commander Catlow said that it's been a heartwarming and truly humbling experience to take the time to look back on the frustrations and difficulties faced by our predecessors and how and see how we now reap the rewards of their dedication to the Royal Flying Corps of Military Aviation, and in particular the mobilisation of the flying unit that now, as a flying training squadron, can proudly instill the esprit du corps to the junior aviators of the Royal Air Force and British Army. Whilst the memorial was taking place, a working party at the squadron visited a cemetery in Blyth to tend to the graves of Major John Charles Bradley Firth, MC, a World War I 45 Squadron ace with 11 victories to his name. Major Firth has no known living relatives and died in 1931 at the age of 37. The team from 45 Squadron, Flight Lieutenant Tony Hall, Master Aircrew Jason Brewster, Master Aircrew Ian Marshall and Mr. Alex Power were joined by the head of the Blyth Parish Council, Mr. Martin Grocock, who were representing the council and the Historical Society and Museum. The service at the graveside was conducted by the Reverend Kate Botley, the local parish vicar and well-known television and radio personality from Gogglebox, and the Chris Evans Breakfast Show. Oh, cool!
Oh.
Absolutely.
Just looking at a bit of information on the squadron, the Royal Air Force Squadron, 45 Squadron. Just wonder what they've done. One of the squadrons I've never heard of.
Yeah.
But they are multi-engine advanced flying training, based at RAF Cranwell in the UK here, and they use the Beechcraft King Air B200 aircraft, which is the twin prop. One of those I saw at the Malta Air Show last year in September.
Yeah.
But their squadron badge has a winged camel as their logo on their badge. So there we go. So we have got one last story. It's not really a military story, but it's one story that everyone's talking about in the chat room at the moment.
Oh, wow.
It's a story that's just recently come online in the last sort of few hours.
Yeah.
And it's regarding, actually, Iron Maiden's Ed Force One.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Ed Force One, as for those of you who have been following on the internet, Ed Force One is now not a 757. It's a it's not a 757. It's a 747.
Yep.
Leased from another company. But anyway, Ed Force One has been badly damaged in Chile. The story is Ed Force One has been badly damaged on the ground in Chile, and the concerts are expected to go ahead as planned. But Ed Force One was this morning tethered to a tow truck to be taken for refueling before flying to over the Andes to Cordoba for the next show. On moving, the steering pin that is part of the mechanism that connects the ground tug to the aircraft seemingly fell out. On making a turn, the aircraft had no steering and collided with the ground tug, badly damaging the undercarriage and two of the aircraft's engines and injuring two ground tug operators, both of whom have been taken to hospital. And we, of course, hope they make a full recovery. Just reading through here, the flight engineers are on the site and evaluating the damage, but their initial report is that the engines have suffered large damage and will require extended periods of maintenance and possibly 2 new engines. They're currently making contingency arrangements to get to the show in Cordoba tomorrow with the band and crew and equipment intact. Fortunately, the 20 tons of equipment had not been loaded onto Ed Force One at the time of the accident. Although this is tragic for our beautiful aircraft, we don't expect this to affect the concert schedules, including the next 2 shows in Cordoba and Buenos Aires. And they hope to find a new Ed Force One to continue the adventure for the future. They'll keep everyone updated and keep checking on the site we're looking at here, which is ironmaiden.com, for more news.
Wow,
so we're just going to put a few of the pictures.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're watching on YouTube, if you want to look at these, or as I say, you can either look it up, it's ironmaiden.com/news/article/Ed Force One damaged. As I say, or if you're watching on YouTube, you can see it now. Here we go. These are the pictures. So that there's basically the 2 pictures here involving the engines, and I think it's fairly safe to say that that's quite conclusive damage.
Fairly bad damage. That is quite bad damage to the engine nacelle. That is for sure. Just moving down just slightly to the next picture there, underneath the nacelle there. I mean, you can see.
But surely this will be down to the airport. That was, the insurance must cover something like this. Surely,
I mean, obviously the aircraft is not going to fly with the engines like that.
No, of course.
And looking myself, I'm not an aircraft engineer or a mechanic, but I'm guessing that they will probably have to be replaced or seriously, made good in some way, which is a terrible shame because as those of you who follow the stories will know, the aircraft obviously is on loan. And was specially painted, obviously, with all the Ed Force One logos
he flies
and
it,
stuff.
doesn't he?
And he flies it, And let's get his name now, Dickinson. Bruce Dickinson flies it, and he's obviously a pilot as well. He done special training as well to fly the 747.
Right. Did his type rating?
His type rating. Yes, very good, Matt. Very good.
Thank you.
So sad news there. Hopefully, obviously, the show will go on. But it's always sad to see such a wonderful aircraft, which was looking quite nice, is badly damaged.
Yeah,
so
a couple of things from the chat room there. It was Micah was saying that the tug driver must have been a groupie trying to rush the stage. And Tony got quite a good point here. I'm surprised that someone should have been on board, to play the brakes.
Very true.
Absolutely. So quite what had occurred from there, I don't know, but very, very strange. But there we are.
So we have got a small piece of voice feedback to play.
Absolutely.
From Mark Maiden. For those of you who don't know, Mark Maiden has his own podcast.
He does.
Called the Maiden Flight Podcast, which you can find on iTunes. He's not released a show for some time.
No.
But we have had him on the show, and we have got. We're in talks with Mark to have him back on the show at some point very soon.
Can't wait.
But we have got some feedback sent in from Mark, and we're going to play that for you right now.
Hello, Carlos and Matt. This is Mark Maiden here, and I just wanted to wish you a huge congratulations on your 103rd episode. 103rd. Oh no, I missed the 100th episode. So sorry, guys. I've been so busy recently, and I haven't been able to catch up my podcasts. And I looked at my podcatcher, and there you just done your 100th episode, and I missed it. So just wanted to say, well done, guys. Congratulations on that. That's such a huge achievement. It's so difficult to keep something like that going on a regular basis, and you've just done a fantastic job. So just wanted to say, well done, keep up the good work, and who knows, I might get to send you a message on your 206th episode. Anyway, all the best, guys. See you now. Bye.
Thanks for that, Mark. Thank you
lovely.
for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I love his accent.
Yeah, I know.
That's so good.
I could listen for that for weeks.
Oh, I bet.
Weeks and weeks. But we're hoping to get him on the show again very, very soon. Hopefully in the next few weeks.
Yeah, you can find Mark if you go over to iTunes. Obviously, search Maiden Flight Podcast, as in Maiden, Maiden, and you can go on his website as well. It's maidenflightpodcast.com, and you'll find out some. He's released last year some really awesome episodes, which he talks about flying, and obviously because he flies himself. So
yeah, he does.
That's
absolutely
pretty cool.
Yeah.
So go on and have a look.
Yeah, absolutely.
And don't forget, you can also catch up with Pilot Pip, over at the Plane Safety Podcast on iTunes, and also at planesafetypodcast.com. over on his website. And don't forget, Pip is running the London Marathon this year.
Yes, he is.
He was actually quite impressed with our idea of him doing a live segment from the actual race.
Yep.
Whether he'd be able to do video as well, that might be a bit difficult to do
we're not
video.
going to try and do video, but we think we found a way where we can do it within the show. So it'll be voice only. But we will get Pip. Yeah.
Hopefully we'll try and schedule the show.
It'll be on the Sunday.
Pip is doing Pip is doing the show there, so it'll be pretty cool.
Very much so. Yeah.
So we have got a little bit of air show news then.
We have.
To close the show with. So we're just going to cover it for the month of April.
I think it's safe to say that there is a strong possibility that this may change.
Yeah, those of you in the chat room and those who are listening to the show as well, downloaded audio version, will know that in the UK we are having slight issues with air shows, and the various authorities who are doing various things to make it extremely hard for the smaller air shows to survive this year due to costs and stuff. We hope to have someone on the show very soon to sort of go in a bit more depth to what exactly is happening, and who is also a display pilot, so that'll be quite cool.
Yes.
So starting off then in April, which is very, very fastly coming up towards us now, April.
Now, yeah.
So start off on April end, the Saturday, the 9th of April, at the Aeronautica Cotswold Picnic at Oaksey Park Airfield in Wiltshire. And this one is 23 years after their first successful event, so it's quite a well-established show. But you can bring a picnic there, and that's on the 9th of April.
Indeed. Sunday the 17th, you'll find that is the Wings and Wheels 2016. That's at Old Buckingham Airfield in Norfolk. It's very near us. We ought to go to that, really. And we're inviting owners of classic cars and aircraft to display their machines at our ever popular spring celebration of internal combustion. Classic car owners with their machines benefit from free entry and a slot in the display. We'll have a variety of food on offer from Jimmy's Cafe.
Jimmy's Cafe.
Yeah, absolutely. The new 453rd Bombardment Group Museum will be open all day too. So the gates open at 10 a.m. and the show closes at 4.
Oh, that'd be great. That'd be one of the shows I haven't been to yet, which is good to see.
It's
on our doorstep.
Yeah, it is. We ought to try and do a show from there.
We should do.
Yeah.
So next one is on Saturday the 30th of April, and this one is the Ladies Fly-In. And this is at Bodmin Airfield in Cornwall in the UK.
Lovely part of the world.
I know. Bodmin Airfield presents the Ladies Fly-In. On the special day, they invite all ladies to the airfield, whether they're aviators or not. And you can enjoy the thrills of all the aircraft and participating in the day, and or you can also look into possibly taking up a career in flying yourself as one of the awesome female pilots.
Yeah,
that'd be quite
absolutely. Cool. The next one's the Saturday, the 30th of April, which is the last one we'll cover. Obviously, we're just doing April this month, but that is the Bronco Fan Day UK, and that's at Cotswold Airport in Kemble, in Gloucestershire, and that is a chance to see the Bronco demo team's aircraft up close and meet the team. So that's quite cool. If you're I'm not sure. What sort of planes do they fly?
The Bronco Day Fan Day. You have to look on there. We'll have Matt's going to have a quick look.
Have a quick look at the website. It sounds a fascinating day. So somebody explain to me what those are.
Wow, I'm sure that's a...
I'm just going to bring that up because that's an amazing picture.
That's amazing aircraft.
Okay, this is on their website, actually. This is BroncoDemoTeam.com.
OV10B Bronco enthusiast.
Okay,
that's an
cool.
aircraft I've not seen before. That's pretty cool.
That is a very cool thing. That is very, very cool. Anyway, that's they're going to be at the air show in April, on April the 30th, and that's at the Cotswold Airport in Kemble.
So the last one in April then on Saturday the 30th and Sunday the 1st of May. So the 30th of April and the 1st of May. This is the Atomic Vintage Festival.
Yep.
And this is at Sywell Aerodrome in Northamptonshire. And,
I'm going there tomorrow.
Oh, are you?
Not the air show, but...
Okay. So the 2 incredible days packed with 1950s rock and roll music, dancing, late bars, vintage stalls, flea market, great food, all served from vintage vans, and non-stop fun, action, and mid-century style. And there'll be loads of people there in traditional stuff, playing music, bands, and singing and dancing, cars, older cars and stuff. With an awesome atmosphere and with the occasional aircraft thrown in for good measure. So that's on Saturday the 30th of April and 1st of May.
Excellent. Now, are we allowed to mention who we've hopefully got coming on next week? We're not. Okay.
No.
Right.
We have hopefully, fingers crossed, got a guest. Hold on, Matt's showing me something. Yes, I did see that one.
Oh, right. Okay, I was just checking.
We have got a guest lined up for next Saturday's show. We will let you know probably
as soon as we
midweek because we want to make sure and confirm that
get timings
this
right.
particular pilot is going to be 100% on board for next Saturday. He's assured us he will be.
Yeah.
But we'll let you know who that is, and then you can all barrage us with your questions because I'm sure there'll be some questions to ask this particular pilot.
What we'd like you to do also, please, is we'd like you to send us those questions using the hashtag PTUK, all right, and then we can actually show them up on the screen as well. But so exciting news, hopefully, which we'll release in the middle of the week when it's all being confirmed. Carl has obviously got something else that's...
I did ask in the chat room to see who was going to come and see us at Farnborough, and we're just scrolling down. Mila's, she'd love to come and visit us at Farnborough. Well, I hope you can come over, Mila. Tony S. Tony's put actually the RIA is the weekend before, which it is.
Yes, it is. Yeah, that's what's causing me a problem.
I know. And yeah, it's the bit. Well, they're both good. I mean, RIA has definitely got more aircraft on show, I think, for sure.
Yeah.
Let's just have a look here. Marsha's hoping to be. Hopefully, Marsha can be there. We can finally meet you. David's going to be there. David Corson, who was, of course, at our 100th show at the Aviation Museum. We'll see David again.
Oh, Jenny's made me laugh. She says, Jenny Parkin says, hang on, it moved. Sorry, she said, I would love to come to the unpronounceable show, but I have to work that weekend.
Yes, you can all come to Farnborough.
Yes,
Farnborough.
Absolutely. Let's stop being horrible now.
Philip Davis hopes to be at Farnborough as well, so I hope to see you there, Philip.
Yeah, going to be good. We're hopefully going to do a live show from there as well, so it should be good.
There we go. I'm just reading for the chat room.
Yes,
as we do.
Good.
So that is about it really for episode 103. We hope you've all enjoyed the show.
Yeah.
For those of you in the chat room. And we hope we've enjoyed all the different pronunciations that we've not got correct today.
We've absolutely got horribly wrong. To get in touch with the show, you can do that.
How can people get in touch?
Many ways
to send
do
us
that.
All that feedback.
All that feedback. Okay, the website it is www.planetalkinguk.com. The email address is podcast@planetalkinguk. Facebook, it's facebook.com/planetalkinguk, and our Twitter handle is @planetalkinguk. Oh, YouTube, youtube.com/planetalkinguk.
There you go.
/live if you want to watch it live, or just, as I say, Plane Talking UK is our handle on there if you want to watch any of the shows with its visual element to it.
Ooh. And we will be back next
Saturday, hopefully, yes.
With a guest.
Yep.
Times to be confirmed.
Yes.
But we will be back next Saturday with a show,
Yep.
and we're going to have a guest on, and it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, that's
I'm really looking forward to that.
But
So
that's where
keep
we
your
bring...
eyes open on Twitter and Facebook. We'll put the links.
We'll post
on
that
stuff.
information as soon as we have it all confirmed. So that's where we bring episode number 103 to a close.
I'm not going to say hello. I'm not going to say thank you or to mention everyone in the chat room because there's too many
so
people.
many
here.
people. We're going to miss someone out.
We'll miss someone out, and we'll pronounce the names
Yeah,
wrong anyway.
Absolutely, yeah. Which is
so
what we do. Yeah.
What we're going to say is thank you to everyone in the chat room for joining us today.
Yeah, it's been a great show as always, and it's your input that makes it that little bit special. So thanks very much for your...
We really do appreciate everyone's input in the chat room every week.
Anyway, it's like 9 minutes and I've got some rugby to watch. So
oh, God, blimey.
And that's it.
Cue the noise.
Yeah, indeed, absolutely. So from all of us here in the studio, it is a very, very happy rest of Saturday. Goodbye.
Bye.